Hello and welcome everybody. Good morning. This is Gary Gotso. Welcome to Race First coverage of round 5 of the inaugural season of the Velocity Online Racing IR05 series as we come to you once again from Texas Motor Speedway for the VOR Texas 225K. It is just me in the booth. Murph has abandoned me. I don't know why, but it's just me. But it's going to be a small field and a quick race today. Only 225K, 94 laps around the 1.5 mile Texas Motor Speedway for the, as another broadcast peer of mine likes to say, the penultimate round of the championship. And let's get the important stuff out of the way really quick here. Here is the point situation. Julian with the points lead, a commanding points lead. And he might be able to clinch this thing really after today, I think. But Matthew Weeks is P2. Forward door Dovzhenko is P3, both racing for iRacing. There is a pretty good battle there for second spot. Seb Kinder, I don't think is today's lineup. He is 4th. McBean is 5th. I think McBean is in the lineup today. And that is your top 15. Here are your team points. Altina Autosports dominating right now, 560 to 383 over iRacing, 177-point lead. 2 rounds to go. And just a reminder of the schedule. Zoop, here you go. Today, Texas 225. You're going by kilometers on this one, and then we're going to wrap up at California, hopefully for a full 300 miler. If not, it'll be a 300K. But depends on how many people are going to show up for that. So if you want longer races, guys, and you're watching this and you're like, oh, I could have made this Texas race, I'll definitely show up for the California race so you can go 300 miles instead of 300K. .32 seconds left to play here. Weeks on the pole, 214.1. Altina, Julian, our good pal, 213.9. Christensen, after getting his first series win at Indianapolis, like he's currently provisionally 3rd with about 15 seconds to go, 213.7. Dovzhenko 213.5, and Silvazzi 213.5 as well. Track temp 86, air temp 69. That should be pretty comfortable, and we are getting ready to go racing as the final laps have been turned in. Matthew Weeks on the pole, his first pole of the series of 214.1, as mentioned. Julian right next to him, very close margin for that pole speed of Matthew. Julian only 0.021 behind Matthew for that, 213.9. Christensen lines up 3rd, Dovzhenko 4th, Silvazzi 5th. Gary Lovern with a good run here in 6th. Layson Furnace in 7th. Yaroslav Donskoy in 8th. Bonnie in 9th. McBean in 10th. Chris Scala, we'll talk about him during the race, is 11th. And going to be lining up 12th with no time will be Chris Lewis. as we are coming to the green flag. The track record, or this configuration of the track record held by Kenny Breck. And you're like, well, wait a second. He drove for CART, didn't he? Yes, he did. There was an official qualification. Oh, car in the wall in the backstretch for some reason. A blinker also as well. Kenny Breck did drive for CART, but CART did have a race here, and they had an official qualifying session here. Even though the race was canceled, I was at ill-fated Firestone Firehawk 600. He turned a qualifying lap at 2:33.4. The IndyCar IRL track record, excuse me, Billy Boat set 98 with a speed of 2:25.9. Getting ready to go racing. Pace car is off field, is under the command of Matthew Weeks. Here we go for 94 laps of racing, just a little bit longer. Christensen getting the wheel spin just a little bit longer than what we normally see for an Indy fixed race. So this should go by pretty quickly. Definitely look at that one stop. Weeks with the good start. Here comes Julian looking on the outside. Weeks teammate Fordor Doshinko is looking to the inside and is trying to get past Julian to lock him out. Christensen survived the wheel spin. He is now back in the fourth, and Salvazzi is in fifth. And Doshinko to the lead, Weeks in second, as the field is starting to get strung out a little bit. And I think what we're seeing here are some guys that are started the first couple laps kind of tippy-toeing a little bit, as it looked like during practice a lot of loose race cars after the tires were getting warm, but certainly as the tires were cold, they were also very loose. And as the tires got extremely hot, especially if they were pushing these corners a lot, they were also getting loose on corner exit.
That'll happen a lot with these cars, Gary.
Here's Murph. He's finally here.
Yeah, so I did not realize it was at a special time. Unfortunately, so I'm a little bit late. We had a function last night that my wife and I attended and stayed at the Four Winds in South Bend. And I just walked in the door, looked at my messages, and said, "Oh boy, Gary." Gary messaged me last night, so pleasure to be here. Sorry I'm a little bit late, but no harm, no foul. We had a good run here yesterday too.
Yeah, I missed the whole race because IIS took up the entire time. You guys sound like you guys had a pretty much a green and clean race to finish it in like only 63 minutes or something like that.
It was an hour. Yeah, it was a little over an hour. It was clean and green.
Wow.
Jesper did his normal deal, storm from the back, and whipped us. It was a very tactical race though, and that's kind of what I'm looking for here. With you got a short field,
in a short distance. Yeah, because of the small field, we've gone to kilometers instead of miles. It was originally scheduled to be a 225 mile race, but because of the small field, we've gone to 225 kilometers.
Right, and so you're looking, even at a short distance, it can be a very tactical race with fuel saving and all that. Remember, no tools in these cars. You can't change the fuel map. Can't use the weight jacker. I was talking with.
Christensen is missing a rear wing.
Well, that's going to speed him up down the straights, but he might not be able to corner without that thing.
No, when he lost that. No, now it's back. It just sprung back.
Aha. The phantom loss of wing.
So we're watching Julian. He started up front and now has floated to the back. I think strategy is already in play for a number of drivers. I think some guys are just flooring it and going for it because it's 94, which is 94 laps, which is about 20 laps longer than an Indy fixed race we have here. Indy fixed races tend to be one stop. And
75.
Then, 75 laps, but one stop right in the middle. Do you think these guys can do it on one?
I think that's the plan. Usual pit window here is 40 to 45 laps in an IR18. I would assume these cars are probably fairly similar.
75% fuel, which is right around that neighborhood. I think Julian gave us a number of what 75% fuel is.
It's 14.8 gallons usually. So You can go. They can probably go right at 40 laps, but we were saving yesterday. We were able to make it 46, 47, 48 laps. So the guy who can make it 47 laps here is king, because you can do it in one stop. I'll tell you who I don't want to be right now is Joshinko or Donsky, because they're out front burning all the gas.
Yeah. And that's what makes me think that normally we see Julian out in front leading here, and we see him with Christensen parked right on his 6 teammates there, and they are back there saving fuel while everyone else is kind of punching a big hole in the air. Of course, also in 9th spot, the guy that gave me my start in broadcasting here in iRacing, Chris Scala, Captain TV. He is in today's race, racing for 4D Racewear, and Jim Herrick.
Yep.
But he broadcasted the race last night in lieu of FTN was not available, and I was not available, obviously, with the IIS going long. And that was a pretty good race.
Yeah, I tuned some of that in. Did old Kevin Burrell finish it off?
No, it was the John Betafure. He won by a pretty big margin, too.
Aha, very good. So when I left it, Burrell was leading.
Must have been pretty early then, yeah.
Benefier was right there, and
Ooh, loose car.
We're kind of, yeah. Well, I was talking with Matt Wagner. This is a Wagner setup. I was talking with Matty Wags yesterday, and these cars have to be set up loose here because you don't have any tools. So
right.
With the modern car, you set it up to have a gentle understeer and you tool your way out of it. In these cars, you have to set them up loose because they're going to tighten up, and you have no way to mitigate that with weight jack or anything like that. So it is a loose setup at first. It will get tighter because just like the current car, they wear the right front out pretty quick.
Something happened to McBean. He is back 4 laps. He's down 12th. He is in the points involved, I believe, in the top 10 in the points championship. So he's going to get some points, but not as much as he wanted. Hopefully, he's going to. He's hoping for, if I can say it. It's early in the morning for me. He is hoping for some more attrition to happen so he can move up. Layson Furnace on pit road.
Yeah, and
go ahead.
Well, short field, right? We've got what, 12 cars out here?
Yeah.
It's going to be worth it, to if you have some trouble early, it's going to be worth it to fix it. Layson had called out that he was coming to pit road. Could believe this is scheduled, so have to go back and see what happened to him, but with
Furnace.
We got a car. Yeah,
he spun. Yeah, he came off the button and the back end came around on him, which is quite the problem in these cars. They got that very low power range. Yep.
They have it's not a low power range. It's a very narrow power band.
Sorry. So again, it's early in the morning still for me. I haven't even eaten. Haven't had any caffeine yet.
And early for me today too. I woke up at the casino 2 hours ago. So there you have it. It was our local political party had our annual.
Ooh, cars in the wall! Cars in the wall!
Yes.
Salvazzi and Chris Lewis.
Oh.
And we are still green.
Yeah, so Lewis went and spun through the grass there. That was just kind of like a misjudgment there. Lewis, got himself loose coming off of turn 4, which will happen. And poor Patrick Salvazzi had nowhere to go and kind of misjudged the closing rate and clouded him, and they both get in the fence. I think Salvazzi might be okay. Going to go on board with him just to check.
No, he can't. He hit the wall way too hard. He's got to have some damage on him somewhere.
He's got a meatball, so there's clearly repair required. Let's see how long it is. But that's why you keep after it, right? That's why you keep after it. If you're McBean, somebody like that, right? Incident like this, boom. That's two spots.
And Bonnie, I'm not sure if he was involved or something. He's on pit road as well. So Doshenko is your leader. Julian, by virtue of just keeping everything in front of him and missing it now in P2. Christensen right with him in P3. Donskoy looking loose, looking very loose in that Marlboro throwback entry. He is currently in 4th, looking for a line that's not going to make him spin out. Chris Scala coming up to this position. Chris is currently 5th. And Weeks, he has fallen to the back here. He is 6th. Lovern is 7th. And right with Lovern back there is that is McBean.
Oh, we got another one. We got another one out of shape. That was Scala going down the back. He just about bought it coming off of turn 2.
And he is coming. He's just rolling out of it, giving the position back, or just not giving the position, just giving the position at all. He's just trying to keep this car under him now. We're very, very loose.
Yeah, he tried to run the bottom through 1 and 2, and what happens is without tools, the car wants to get snapped loose off of 2 anyway. And without tools, if you have your line, if you try to pinch it too much, it just snaps the back end out coming off of 2 and 4. And he is still fighting that thing. It would not surprise me with that slide he took if the rears just aren't screaming at poor Chris Scala right now, as he tries to fight a ill handling machine. And the bad part is you got to stay out. You know what I mean? He's going to have to stay out. The only thing you do is slow down, get those tires back to normal temp. But he is fighting an angry IR05 right now. Just to kind of compare how slow he is, he was 205 at the end of the double dog leg there, going into turn 1. That's what Julian's exiting the corner at. So poor Chris is 10 miles an hour off the pace at the moment, just because he can't. He's trying to just keep the thing underneath of it.
Well, 29 of 94. Despite all the troubles on the track, we are still green.
Yep. So one of the nice things about this course in particular as an oval is that it does not trigger a caution for anything on the apron, and the apron in 3 and 4 especially is extremely wide, and it doesn't trigger a caution for anything in the grass. And so as long as you're on the apron or on the grass, it's not going to trigger a yellow, which is, like I said, is actually rather nice.
The rule set for today is 4 sets of tires, 1 in the car, 3 in the pits. I would imagine those that are having handling issues now might want to go for those sets of tires. Really, to get to the end, you probably only need 2 sets, the one you start on, and then maybe 1 pit stop's worth. 75% fuel, and I believe they have no fast repairs. If you can double check that for me in the rules, I don't think they have any fast repairs.
There are no fast repairs here, and this brings up, that brings up an interesting point with the extra tire sets. Yesterday, we were kind of limited, and here comes we got a car stopped on the apron and disconnecting. That's going to be as Chris Scala comes to pit road.
Donskoy on pit road. He looks pretty destroyed.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing it, right? So who's gonna do the 1 stop? Who's gonna do the 2 stop? That was Donskoy that was down on the apron, and what have we here? So Yaroslav going through turns 3 and 4, back in, steps out, he overcorrects it, and that was a Sebastian Bourdais Indianapolis turn 2 esque incident there.
He caught it and it just went directly into the wall.
Yeah, the one thing you don't ever do, cardinal rule in a downforce open wheel car, is counter steer. Let it go, and he did not let that go and took a nasty lick into the turn.
Well, it looks like Scala is opting for possibly the 2 stopper. if he's going to stop at 30 and then probably 60 and get a new set of tires. I think some of these folks might just, I think some people are going to go based upon their tires, while others are going to go based upon their tanks. I think Dojinko, Altena, and Weeks are among those. John Christensen had an issue. He's on pit road. He was in third spot right behind Julian for a while. But looks like he is getting some attention on pit road. So you might see people tend to, I think a majority of the field is going to tend to tires and not worry about going light on tanks. Well, the leaders right now, Dojiko and Julian, they are going to go based upon their tanks.
Yeah, and so, it's the old story, right? One stop versus two. Chris Scala, the leader of that brigade that has stopped.
Loshenko coming to pit road.
Yeah, so, maybe the strategy is we're going to see how far we can go, and maybe if there's a yellow, you cut a pit stop out, new track position. Here's the thing, Scala, there's yellow.
Yep, and that is Layson Furnace. And we'll watch the replay what happened to Layson. He's racing Bonnie. I don't think that is for position, actually. And, apron.
Yeah, apron bad. There were cars on pit road. Fyodor was on pit lane.
Oh, interesting. Apron was bad, and then he... let's run that back again and do it from the perspective of Alexander Bonnie. Because there was latency involved, and Bonnie is running with a bad front wing right now, but he's underneath Furnace. They come to the corner. Furnace blinks, lags out, and I think, and then when he comes back, rematerializes right on top of Bonnie. Watch this. See what this.
Yeah.
Nope. He's already losing it. But, and it's right in front of Bonnie, and that is your caution.
So, people that are going to wind up smelling like a rose here, Fyodor was on pit lane when the caution came out, so that is a huge advantage to him. Chris Scala managed to stay on the lead lap, so... If you're Scala, do you come back and top your tank up and get your... I would think you're going to come back, top your tank up, and put another set of stones on it, just based on tire wear. That was my mistake yesterday. Jesper and I made that mistake. We came in and got gas but no tires. And
yeah, he's only 7 laps. He's only 7 laps into his stint. He might as well just come in and top off.
Well, right, but it's tire wear, and so... as I was saying yesterday, Jesper and I made that mistake, right? We had kind of the same thing where we had pitted, and then caution came out like 5-6 laps later. We came in and got gas only, and although we were able to come back to the front, it was much more difficult, and then we paid for that at the end of the run. Badly. It would have been much better had we taken tires. And Scala does appear as though he's gonna come back down pit lane and get him some more gas at least. Let's see if it goes up on the jacks here, Gary.
Yeah, watching him come down to his stall, kind of glides it in, hits his marks. Nope, just fuel only.
Tires.
All right.
I would categorize that as interesting. Especially since he called that race yesterday and saw what happened, the trials and tribulations that Jesper, I, and Liam O'Sullivan had on old tires. But hey, maybe saving him for the end.
Right behind the pace car is the 96 of Doshenko and John Christensen. Christensen is 1 lap down. They will get the wave around. Christensen will still be a lap down. He's shown as 1 lap down to the leader, which is Julian. Julian's right behind him, but they'll get the wave around the pace car here momentarily. And we'll get a chance to reset some things here. The all-time wins leaders here at Texas in IndyCar history. Scott Dixon leads with 5. That should be to the surprise of absolutely nobody. Helio Castroneves has 4. Sam Hornish and Joseph Newgarden each have 3. And Scott Sharp, Scott Goodyear, and Will Power each have 2. Many drivers also got their first career wins here back in the early days of the Indy Racing League and the Texas Motor Speedway, especially when it was a big kind of a pack race. But Billy Boat, Mark Dismore, and Jeff Ward all got their first wins here in the early days of the IRL here at Texas.
Yes, and probably my favorite redemption win came here in the IRL 1998. John Paul Jr. in a Jonathan Byrd Infinity took one to victory lane in the second Texas race. Remember, we used to race here twice.
Right. Now, they had a lot of tire issues in that race, but the interesting thing is Mike Groff was supposed to be the driver of that car. That he got replaced shortly after Indianapolis. The ride went to John Paul for the remainder of the season, and calling that race on the ABC or ESPN feed, it was Paul Page and Mike Groff. So Mike was calling the race that his own car won at. We are back green again. Julian is the leader going to the 342 of 94 are in the books. We are quickly getting to the halfway point.
We are indeed. The laps here go away very quickly, Gary. Something like 25 seconds a lap. And so this race will be very short if it does stay green. Interested to see, can Chris Scala get back toward the front on those older...
Here's Chris to the low side.
Yeah. Got the preferred line. Going to take it through there.
Going to go against Lover, and that's for position. So move Scala up into P3.
Yep. He's going to be chasing down Matthew Weeks, who's a second and a half up the road. And then Weeks is about a second and a half behind Julian. So some good spacing here. The restart got them all kind of spread out a little bit. And the cars are kind of in different knots, and you'll see this sometimes. You've got Julian up at the head of the deal, and then you got Weeks and Silvazzi kind of together. Then you got a little gap, and then back to Chris and Fyodor. John Christensen is sixth, a lap down, but he's another second behind Skyler and Dovchenko. And Christensen and Lovren are kind of running together. So just little knots of cars at this point. Although I will say this, Chris Scala has closed the gap pretty rapidly on Silvazzi and Weeks.
Yeah, he has. He's right there. Silvazzi's 3 laps down.
And I wonder if Weeks doesn't have some damage, because he is about 4/10 off the pace of Julian. Tell you this, I like Silvazzi's line, man.
Careful, Chris.
He's
watch
up
that.
There in the...
Yeah, Chris was hitting the apron. I'm like, careful, Chris.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Apron bad, but Silvazzi's up there in the he's up there in the Murphy Oster Gant line through 1 and 2. I like that.
And here's a battle for second. Scala the inside of Weeks, down into 3, and pulls right up, gets the position, moves Scala up to P2.
Yep, and like I said, I wonder if there's not something wrong with Weeks, because he's a solid 3/4 a lap off of Julian. Scala is roughly a 10th slower than our leader, but Weeks is kind of off the pace a little bit. Now that he's got the draft, maybe he can keep up.
Looking in chat, Layson's in there, not very happy. Go back and watch the broadcast there, Layson. You lagged out pretty badly, and then you all of a sudden reappeared right in front of Bonnie, actually. Then at that point, that's when you got loose. Bonnie didn't make contact with you, at least on our screens, until you were already loose in front of him. So check that out, and then you might want to also check out your cable modem or router and find out why you were lagging pretty badly, because it was even in the practice. But that happens sometimes. I've seen a lot of people have blinking issues before. A lot of it is, well, there's some videos out there on how to, YouTube videos on how to fix that on iRacing.
You know, and you talk about the lag. That's, you know, it's something that. It's something
he watched it. Okay.
Yeah, you think, you know, it's something that drives some of the people that watch these on the regular kind of nuts, right? At the same time, it's part of esports. All esports lag. iRacing actually, among the major esports, is one of the best at not having it. If you ever watch competitive Warzone or, you know, some of that stuff, man, those connections are awful sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And so here we do a pretty good job of it, but they do lag out, and it's part of it. It's just like real world weather or mechanical failures. It's something completely outside of your control to a certain extent, right? I mean, there's things you can do, and we all do them, but you can't help you know, like if you're me, you can't help that the server in Chicago might be experiencing a hiccup, right? And so it's just the way it is, but it's something we all have to deal with.
Bonnie with the purple lap. He's back in P9, a couple laps off the pace, 4 laps off the pace. But he I can't talk. He did get the purple lap.
Yep, and he's running along really solidly by himself. That's no draft, Gary. He is 3 seconds.
With a bad front wing, too.
Yeah. And that's got to be frustrating for him. To know you're that quick, and you know, you're quick, but you got a hurt car, and you're all by yourself. It's got to be frustrating. But kudos to Bonnie, because he's a couple of tenths up a lap on Julian at this point. You wonder how bad those Firestones are going to be screaming at him with the loss of downforce on the front.
Hey guys, if you're enjoying this early Sunday matinee racing here, if you enjoy race first coverage of the VOR IndyCar IR05 series and respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing, and while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you don't miss out on future race first iRacing broadcasts. And that includes tomorrow, me and you, Murph. Well, this serves as a reminder as well. Me and you going to be doing the Xfinity Series in the ISRA at 9:35, and their Xfinity Series opener in the ISRA. And you can tell me all about the Xfinity cars because I know nothing about them. And then on Tuesday, our signature broadcast, which will be the iRacing IndyCar Oval Series. And they will be at the second leg of the Race First Triple Crown. The only person that could win that is Robert Malechka III. So can he win the second leg of the Race First Triple Crown at Pocono? Well, tune in and find out. 8:15 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun deal. I believe that is Legacy Pocono, if memory serves. And so we're going to get the bumpy version instead of the billiard table smooth one, which is always a lot of fun. The Xfinity car, by the way,
Scala just gave up second. He is now back to fourth. I don't know if he realized that maybe he needs to save fuel or his handling is going away, but he is in a pack with Weeks, Doshinko, and Donskoy. Or not Donskoy. Who's all on that one? Savazzi.
Yeah, and this is about when the handling went away from him on the last run as well. And remember,
in the
he
60s,
did not take tires.
Yeah, it was in the 60s.
He did not take tires.
Yep. You're right. You're absolutely correct.
So I think Chris Scala's learning if you don't take care of the tires, you can be a rocket for a little bit, but you're gonna pay the price. I would not be surprised to see old Chris Scala pull that baby down pit road here in the next 4 or 5 laps try the undercut as he did before, and it was working for him. You know what I mean? But he's down, golly, 6-7 tenths a lap on Julian at the moment, losing a half a second a lap to Weeks and Fiodor too.
Yeah, he's doing last lap was a 2:06.4, now a 2:06.3. Julian turning laps in the 2:10 range, 2:10.2.
Yep.
Look at how he's a whole lane off the bottom, staying super high. Thing about high, and you just saw it right there. When you run your line high in 3 and 4, you run the risk of smacking that turn 4 wall. It comes up on you rather quickly on exit.
Yes, it does, and it's almost deceiving how quick it does. You don't realize it, I don't think, watching on TV, how narrow turns 3 and 4 here are, particularly because turns 1 and 2 are so ridiculously wide. But 3 and 4 are very narrow. It's really, you can kind of see the markings. This track is really only 3 interstate lanes wide. Everywhere but 1 and 2. 1 and 2 are freakishly huge, but it's 3 interstate lanes wide. It's one of the more narrow ovals we go to. I want to say it's even more narrow than Indianapolis, come to think of it.
Not as narrow as Charlotte.
That is true. Charlotte is.
That's like, especially in these cars, that's like threading the needle.
Yeah, and Chris is saying, he's telling. Just came on the radio and told John Christensen to stay high in 3 and 4. I think he's going to let him go, or he's coming to pit lane 1.
Oh!
Apron bad.
Oh!
Apron bad. Slow down.
And I think he got it to the speed limit. If not, it was very, very close. So we were just watching a battle for Doshinko and Weeks. Do have someone in chat saying, let's go Weeks. And there is your guy in third. All these guys are fighting a very ill-handling, evil IR05 car at the moment.
Whoa. He got a lot closer to the apron than I thought, did Chris Scala, but he's rolling back toward the speedway. Be careful. Do not light the rear tires up here, Chris. Be careful. Right about here.
Yeah, the place you want to do when you come off the button is immediately try to go to second gear. That helps that problem.
I don't even. I just put it in. I just take off in second gear to avoid that. To be completely honest with you. But he's back on the track. Scala going to blend in front of Gary Lovern, who is in 4th. Alexander McBean 8th in close attendance to that battle. Matt Wagner in chat forgot about the race. Don't worry, Matt. I also forgot that the time had been moved. Thankfully, I logged in to check my message from Gary and found out.
And you know why we moved this? So we moved this so everybody can watch at 1 o'clock the NTT IndyCar Series race at Barber. We did that for everybody else.
And that's fair. I had also forgot what time that race was. We had a good time last night, Gary. I can't underline that enough. My memory for the last 24 hours is kind of hazy.
I'm about to say there was probably some beverages going on.
You get a bunch of people who like to talk and drink and all have the same political affiliation in the same hall. There are going to be beverages consumed. It was a fun night. It's always good to see your friends.
Weeks to the inside of his teammate going into 1, trying to get that position. His teammate might want to consider giving it to his team. His teammate wanted to consider giving it to his teammate. Making sense. Weeks is involved in the points championship. He is currently in a battle for second. Let's bring that up on the screen one more time. But how much does Shinko really want to share? Because Shinko's in that points battle as well. 3 points separate the two.
I mean, Weeks has gotten by him now. Guys are starting to come to pit lane. It's right in the window. Weeks did get around to Shinko, and he's kind of pulled away a little bit. I don't think anybody's got anything for Julian here.
Salvazzi to pit road.
Yeah. But we're right there now. at that
20
spot
to go.
where you're going to be making your final stop. Chris Scala is the study of the undercut here. He's running around 0.6 a lap quicker than our leader, Julian Altena.
And last time by, 211.9 for Chris. Last time by for Julian, 207.3.
And Weeks, by the way, has done a great job of taking care of his Firestones, because he got past Devchenko and he has sodded off from his teammate, and he is running down Julian at a frightening clip. He took 0.3 out of him that lap.
Yeah, 209.5. 209.5 was his last lap.
Yeah, he is.
209.6. Yeah.
Matthew Weeks is coming, baby.
And you talked about him racing there in the Elite Series, in the mini series they run, and you said that he's good there, and he's been kind of drafted into IndyCar duty here by Chris Lewis and the TI Racing team, and he's definitely put his skills on full display on how he can handle an open wheeler, especially an older open wheeler at that.
Yep, Julian's coming to pit road. So let's cover
stop.
that. But yeah, Matthew Weeks is an amazing stock car driver. And of all the three Indy cars, this one probably drives the most like a stock car. We're watching Julian come to pit road. That'll hand the lead to Matthew Weeks, who continues to circulate at about 25 flat. 25.091 that last lap, which really is pretty close to the new tire pace. New tire pace is 24.7, 24.8. So if he can stay out there a few more laps.
Julian overshot his pit marks by just a few inches and had to roll back. So that's going to cost him a little time on pit road. Got new tires and fuel to get to the distance. Down on the way, he was in the box for 8.9. Not the quickest pit stop, but he didn't lose a lot of time.
Didn't, but that's going to cost him a second or two. Matthew.
Here's Weeks. He's in pit road.
Up on the jacks. It's going to be a shorter stop for Weeks because he's not going to need as much fuel. About 25 laps worth instead of the full tank. Down and away, gets his tires. And back on the track for Matthew Weeks. Don't spin it.
And Julian and Scala are in a battle now.
They are indeed.
And Weeks is out in front. Right now, the leader is Lovern.
Here comes the pack. Did Weeks yard him? He has. So Matthew Weeks comes out with a 1.3 second lead on Chris Scala. The miscue on pit road cost Julian Altena almost 3 seconds. Just that little bit overshooting his box. 3 seconds. He was 1.5 ahead when he came in, and he is about a second and a half down coming out as he looks to the outside of Chris Scala.
So Lovern is now 42 laps into his current stint. He's turning laps in the 201 bracket versus Weeks turning into the 208, probably 209 next time by as he's getting fully up to speed. And here comes Lovern. I was wondering how long it would be before he hits pit road. He is now on pit road. So now the leader by about 4 seconds. We'll see here in just a second. The leader by about 7/10 now over Scala, and Julian is Weeks.
Gary is now hit pit road, so 42 laps he made it, and he is now on the pit lane. And he'll go a lap. He's going to easily lose a lap here, Gary.
Yep.
So that'll make the battle between Weeks, Altena, and Scala. By the way, Julian has got past Chris Scala, and they have run down Matthew Weeks, who, to be honest with you, I think he is running to a pace to save the tires. I think he's being very deliberate about how he's running this. Does that make sense?
Yep. And since let's real quick just to get some business out of the way, since we're done with the last round of pit stops and we're coming up on the checker flag. Once again, if you're just joining us, you're watching race first coverage of round 5 of the VOR IndyCar IR05 series coming to you from Texas, where Matthew Weeks is our leader. with approximately 10 laps to go. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race. We have a week full of them. Starting tomorrow or later tonight, the Dark Horse DW12 series from Milwaukee. 8 p.m.
right.
Eastern. Yep.
We may see the Race vs. American in that show. We may.
That's a tough track, Milwaukee.
It is not my favorite, but I've come to really enjoy running that series. I love running this one too, but I love running with the VOR guys too. But the Dark Horse deal has been a lot of fun, just because it's kind of like this. It's being in Discord with we got a spinner, Scala.
He's on pit road. He's going to get straightened out. Unfortunately, that's probably going to mean speeding on pit road, so he's going to get a penalty.
He saved the race car, but he's going to pay a price. He's going to have a drive-through, at least, maybe a stop.
Might as well just come to your stall.
Yeah, it looks like what he's now.
No, okay.
I don't know that did he actually go down? Did he actually?
Oh, and he came around, coming off the button. All going bad.
I don't know that he's going to affect a speeding penalty on pit road. Because by the time the 4 tires got onto pit road, he was at pit road speed. So I don't know that he gets a penalty other than having spun out twice.
Well, now Julian needs to figure out a way to get around Weeks, because the high side's not going to do it at this point in time. As he's working on the high side.
Now Scala's going to bring it back down pit road, I would assume for a new set of shoes on his number 5 Dallara Honda. Of course, these cars were Honda powered in exclusivity.
Yep.
At the time they were scanned.
Yeah, Chevy didn't return back to the ranks until the DW12.
It's true. And it really wasn't a Chevy when these cars came out either. Chevrolet tried. At the time, Ilmor was building the Honda engines. And Scala spun it again. He spun it again. He's down on... He lights it up, gets it spun back around. He spun it again coming off of pit road. So Chris Scala just having all sorts of stuff go wrong here. Meanwhile, Julian climbs to the high side of Matthew.
We got 4 to go. So we got 4 to go. Weeks on the low side, Julian on the high side. Salvazzi in P6 there in that teal car. He is not involved in this battle, but he's just an interested watching party. And Weeks on the low side. Going to control the low side, the IRL line. Julian trying to get to the high side, but I don't think Julian could pull that pass off unless the tires for Weeks goes away. Side by side, off of 2 down the backstretch.
Julian has got to pin Weeks to the bottom and make him use all of his tires up coming off of 2 and 4. I don't think he's going to do it. Patrick Salvazzi has the best seat in the house as we come to 2 to go. But Salvazzi can actually determine who wins this.
Final lap. We're on the final lap. Yeah, we're on the final lap, side by side, down the backstretch. If Salvazzi gets behind somebody, he can push it. Julian to the front at the end of the backstretch, coming down the 3 and 4, side by side. Weeks with the slight edge coming off the corner to the dogleg. And Weeks, I think, is your winner by 0.09 or 0.010. It was 0.09 and it changed to 0.10 margin of victory right there at the very end. So Weeks squeaks it out for his first career. I got to think this might be his first career IndyCar win of anything, but his first career win in VOR.
Yep, and if we were running the current car, Julian would have won the race. Matthew Weeks can thank the garage door size front wings on these cars, because if this was an IR18, it would be Julian going to victory lane. That's how close it was. Talking about Golly Gary. It's Matthew Weeks won by 2 inches.
Yeah, we will get just a second here. All right, there we go. We gotta get the replays queued up here. All right, let's get the final standings up here. Weeks on the 2-stopper led 16 laps, is your winner. The margin of victory, there you see it, 0.010. 0.010 is your margin of victory. An eyelash. And all things considered. Julian, P2, led 41 laps on the 2-stopper. Ford Odoshinko improved 1 spot. He also did the 2-stopper, led 35 laps. Christensen got a top 5, but he was down a lap, had an incident that forced him to have to make a long pit stop for a repair, but finishes 4th. Lovern, the other VOR car, there's 3 VOR cars in the lineup, and all of them in the top 5. He improved 1 spot, led 2 laps himself, and also on a 2-stopper. 6th is Salvazzi, 7th McBean, 8th is Chris Scala. Just a bunch of difficulties there in that last stint. He was up there in the top 3 at one point, leading also at one point. He fell back to 8th. Bonnie, 9th. Layson Furnace in 10th. Donskoy in 11th, and Chris Lewis, kind of an innocent bystander. Well, not quite. I think he kind of got loose a little bit. Almost took out Salvazzi. And he is 12th. Salvazzi was more of the innocent bystander on that one.